Hello everyone. So this is environment. I guess this is fifth session where we're talking about some very important things related to environment which can be asked in UPSC prelims. We have also seen so many questions which has been asked in environment section from 2000 to 2016 in the previous session. So you can go there and you can see them. And also one thing which you have to remember is each session is independent in nature. It has nothing to do with the previous sessions. So you can watch them independently as well. So first of all, let's talk about the important topics for today. So today we'll talk about plastic crust. Today we'll talk about plastic glomerates. After that, we'll also talk about certain phenomena like anti-greenhouse effect. What else? We'll also talk about what is Arctic paradox, India State Forest Report. We'll talk about that. And you know that this India State Forest Report is biennial in nature. We'll talk about something else, some more other steps as well, and we'll see certain things like this India State Forest Report. This is very important. So the different phenomena related to India State Forest Report, like which particular state has maximum forest cover, which particular state has maximum percentage of forest state cover. These were two different scenarios. Then you must have seen the what do you say, the area of forest cover in India varies. Somewhere it is in 24%, somewhere it is in 21%. So we'll see the difference. What is the difference? What is causing that difference, right? Or what is causing that difference of 3%, 2 point something. So we'll see that. First of all, let's not waste time and let's start and jump directly to the point. Plastic crust. So there is a phenomenon that they can ask you, like what kind of questions can we ask? These points which I'm writing here, they have been derived from different test series, from previous year questions. So plastic crust, they can ask. Plastic crust is the plastics which has been found at the bottom of the ocean or something else. No, it is actually the plastic which is forming on crust, as the name suggests. Plastic crust. So plastic which is forming on crust on the rocky shores of there is a Portuguese archipelago. Archipelago is a group of islands. When we talk about archipelago, it is a group of islands. Fine. So that has been formed, and we'll also see how does plastic crust looks. And this particular Madeira is a Portuguese archipelago. So they can even ask you a question framing like Madeira, a Portuguese archipelago, is famous or is recently in use for this. So you have to understand it is recently in use for this plastic crust scenario. And this is the first known case of plastic formation on rocky shoreline. So this is plastic crust. There's something called plastiglomerate. Now, what is plastiglomerate? It is a mixture of plastics, beach sediments, lava particles, all these things. And it was found on Hawaii. Hawaii is a island which is under USA, like that is an island belonging to USA. Fine. So let's see plastic crust and let's see plastiglomerate so that we can deduce the difference between these two. And then we'll talk about anti-greenhouse effect also. So let's do that. First of all, let's see plastic crust and then we'll see plastiglomerates. Hope you can see it. So this particular figure, hope you can see it now. This one, this white surface, you can see this one. This is your plastic crust. This whole thing. Why? Because this is the plastic which has been formed on the crust. This one, this particular surface. Hope you can see. So this is plastic crust. What is plastiglomerates? So we'll read certain things and we'll eliminate that particular stuff, and then we'll read the other stuff. So we'll talk about plastiglomerate right now, and then after that we'll talk about anti-greenhouse effect. And in that anti-greenhouse effect, there's something called stratospheric sulfur aerosol. So we'll talk about that also. What does that mean? Different scenarios. We'll talk about different reports published by different organizations. So this is plastiglomerates. Hope you can see it. So here there is a scenario where plastic is mixing with molten lava in different scenarios or different other particles. So plastic plus molten lava plus other materials. So that is plastiglomerate. It was found on Hawaii. And that plastic crust, it was found in a Portuguese archipelago. Now what else? Now let's talk about something else. So now we talk about anti-greenhouse effect. So we all know about greenhouse effect, right? But what is anti-greenhouse effect? So anti-greenhouse effect is a phenomenon. It's an opposite phenomenon of greenhouse effect. In greenhouse effect, you have warming. So in anti-greenhouse effect, you will have the cooling of the surface. Now, why we have written this or why I have written it in my notes? Because there are certain things like if I ask volcanoes or the particles which are coming out from volcanoes, whether it will cause greenhouse effect or anti-greenhouse effect, you feel that these particles which are coming out from volcanoes, they will warm the earth. So they will cause a greenhouse effect. No, that is entirely wrong. These particles which are coming out from volcanoes, they will cool the planet. Why? Because they are reflecting the incoming solar radiation. These particles will come out, they will reflect the incoming solar radiation, they will shed the incoming solar radiation, and they will cool the planet. So that's why this is very important. That one of the major, now they can ask you which of the following causes anti-greenhouse effect. And you will, if you have not read it, you will more often than not take this particular thing as that this is not causing an anti-greenhouse effect. The particles which will be coming out from volcanoes, that will be causing greenhouse effect. That is wrong. It is causing anti-greenhouse effect. It is cooling the planet. and like the volcano in Hawaii and Philippines and Pacific Ring of Fire, all the particles which are coming out, they're cooling the planet. They're not making it warmer. Second thing, what other things are causing anti-greenhouse effect? The other thing which is causing anti-greenhouse effect is stratospheric sulfur aerosol. As the name suggests, these are sulfur particles which are present in stratosphere. These are sulfur particles which are present in stratosphere, and there are certain things, certain human-induced things, which increases the concentration of these sulfur aerosols. So they also produce a cooling effect by same thing, by reflecting sunlight and by modifying clouds as they fall out of the stratosphere. Now let's see certain scenarios, let's see certain figures so that we can remember it in a better manner. So we have seen plastiglomerate, so let's remove it and let's cross it out, and then we'll try to see the different phenomena, the different things associated with this is now, if you can see here, this is stratospheric sulfur aerosol. This particular thing, this white particular thing, is a stratospheric sulfur aerosol, and they also modify the way the clouds are formed. So they have a significant impact on the weather formation if they are present in considerable, amount. So they will cause anti-greenhouse effect. And what are the sources of these stratospheric aerosols? So if we talk about the troposphere or the things which we do on land, so volcanic eruptions, they increase stratospheric aerosol level. Then there is terrestrial biomass burning, industrial waste, OCS, DMS, marine, all these different phenomena, they cause or they increase the level of stratospheric aerosol. Even in mesosphere, these meteoritic dust, they also contribute to stratospheric aerosol there. Not very important, but you should be knowing what we are reading. So anti-greenhouse effect, what is very important here? What are the cause or what are the things which cause an anti-greenhouse effect? So we have seen volcanic emission, whatever is emitting from or whatever is being emitted from volcanoes, they cause anti-greenhouse effect. The second thing is these stratospheric aerosol particles. Fine, what else? So now let's talk about and let's see something else, and we'll talk about some other things which are very important from exam perspective. Everything which we are doing is important some way or the other because they have been asked in certain areas. So now we'll talk about something called Arctic paradox. Again, a very important term because here also you can be what do you say, induced to make mistakes. If you don't know it, you will make mistakes here in Arctic paradox. You can feel they can give you different options that Arctic paradox is associated with the global common of Arctic or how the resources should be what do you say, maintained or how the resources should be distributed or Russia's claim over Arctic. There are different things which they can write here. But actually that is not Arctic paradox. Arctic paradox is a term which has been coined by this particular American journalist, Marla Kohn, and who has also written it in a book, Silent Snow, which is a bestseller, and it has got 5 star out of 5 star in various different reviews. The Silent Snow, and it is talking about the pollutants, man. It's talking about what are the different kinds of pollutants which we are finding in Arctic ecosystem because it is now a global common, so everybody's coming with their waste. If they will leave, if they will establish their bases, it will, in a way, release certain amount of pollutants. So effect of these pollutants in Arctic ecosystem and their effect on wildlife as well as people. So this is a phenomenon of Arctic paradox. And you can also, here also different questions can be asked. Marla Kohn is associated with this, which particular book? Silent Snow. And this is dealing with what? This is dealing with Arctic paradox, which is about pollutants in the Arctic region. Now let's see this particular book so that you can remember. This is the book. This particular book, Silent Snow, the slow poisoning of the Arctic by increasing the amount of pollutants which we are finding in that particular region. Silent Snow, hope you can see here, written by Marla Kohn, and she's talking about the Arctic paradox. So remember these stuff, these are important stuff. These are in news, these are has been talked recently. So everything which has been talked in recent months, they become important from exam perspective. So now let's go back and let's see certain else. Now we'll talk about Living Planet report, who publishes it. We'll see certain more reports which has been asked earlier. So now let's talk about Living Planet report. So again, Living Planet report has been now earlier also. If you have seen my earlier sessions on environment, so we have talked about WWF Earth Hour. We have talked about who conducts Earth Hour. So WWF conducts Earth Hour. Now, similarly, Living Planet report, who publishes Living Planet report? WWF publishes it, and it is released every 2 years. So that means it is a biennial publication. Whenever they write biennial, it means this thing is published every 2 years, man. So that is biennial in nature, right? So that is Living Planet report. WWF has published it, and let's see certain figures associated with this Living Planet report so that we can remember it in a much better manner. So this particular report, you can see here, this is Living Planet report, risk and resilience in a new era. And they have talked about how much we are risking ourselves and our future generations, all these things. And you can even see a symbol here of WWF here. The bear is here. And As you can see, that WWF is not solely publishing it. It is involved with other organizations as well in the publication of this particular report, Living Planet report. What else? So now we'll talk about different phenomena. We'll talk about another report, and we'll also talk about what are the implications, what this particular report is talking about. They are talking about that blue planet is under threat. There are so many different things. And if you see the risk index, there is a risk index which Living Planet report is talking about. And in the very high category, India is there. India is there in the very high category. They're saying that 90% of the world's seabirds may have bits of plastics in their stomach. We have talked about plastic crust just now. 20% of the Amazon forest have disappeared. And Brazil and under Bolsonaro, they are continuously depleting the reserves. 170, the number of times global temperature has risen. You can imagine the repercussions of it. 60% fall in the number of all these things. So these are very, very tricky and very frightening figures. Fine. Now let's move on. Let's talk about another report. So what will we do? We'll go back and we'll see another report. And do revise these stuff. But there are so many things, especially the previous year questions. They are very important indicator of what you have to read and what you have to leave. So we have talked about Living Planet report. There's another report which is called Emission Gap Report. Emission Gap Report is published by UNEP. UNEP publishes a lot of reports. So these two reports are important actually. This Living Planet report and this Emission Gap Report. They are important reports. So don't forget it, remember it. Now let's also see how does this Emission Gap Report looks like. So this is your Emission Gap Report 2019, and this has been published by UNEP, so United Nations Environment Program. So they are publishing this Living Planet or Emission Gap Report. We have already seen the Living Planet one, and that is published by WWF along with others, but WWF is the chief or the major member. Fine. What else we have to read? Now we'll talk about India State Forest Report. That is also very important. And there are certain data associated with that. So we'll have a look at those data, look at those figures, because they're very important from exam perspective. So first of all, let's see certain facts associated with that report. So we have talked about Emission Gap Report, Living Planet Report. Now let's talk about ISFR, that is India State Forest Report. This ISFR. Now, again, it is a biennial report. That means once in 2 years it will be published. Who publishes it? FSI, Forest Survey of India, which is under MOEFCC. MOEFCC is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And in 2019 forest cover, again, remember this. What are the two things which are important? First thing, which state had highest forest cover? Second, which state has highest forest cover in percentage term? The third thing is, which state has shown an increase? So these are important terms. So first of all, Madhya Pradesh, they has the highest forest cover in reporting, say, absolute terms. Madhya Pradesh has the highest forest cover in absolute terms. Arunachal Pradesh is on the second number. Even if you don't remember the second, that's fine, but remember the first. In forest cover percentage terms, so more than 85% of land in Mizoram is covered by forest. And what does forest cover mean? What is the definition of forest cover under ISFR? Even your land, if that land is more than 1 hectare in area and that has a tree canopy density of more than 10%, then that land will be considered under forest cover. It doesn't matter who is using it, for what purpose they're using it, and what is the ownership nature, whether this is public, private, or what. So understand this thing. So this is forest cover, tree canopy density of more than 10% and more than 1 hectare in area. So that will be your forest cover. That will be included in India's forest cover. Now they say, this report is saying that total forest cover is 21.67% of the geographical area. Earlier in 2017, it was around 21.54%. But sometimes, somewhere you will see that it is written 24 point something something. So what is the difference between these two? Why we are saying 21.67 and 24 point something? So we'll see that difference right now. We'll see why that difference has been created. Now again, largest area of wetland within reserve forest area. Gujarat has the largest area of wetlands. You can be confused. You feel that Sundarban, it has wetlands, so it has the largest area of wetland. No, that is wrong. Gujarat has the largest area of wetland within the reserve forest area, followed by West Bengal. West Bengal is at the second position. Now let's see certain more facts associated with it, and let's see why there is a difference between 21 and 24%. What else we are including in the 24% scenario? So hope you can see this one now. So see here, total forest cover. They're writing something called total forest cover, which is 21.67%. We have just talked about it. Then they talk about tree cover. So tree cover is 95,000 square kilometer. So it is adding to 2.89. When they are adding these two, then total forest and tree cover is 24.56. So whoever is saying 21.67%, they are also correct. Whoever is saying 24.56%, they are also correct. The only difference is the person who is saying 24.56, he has included the tree cover also in this total forest cover. And this total forest cover includes the mangrove cover, and that's it. That's it. Apart from that, you don't need to remember other figures like what is very dense forest, what is moderately dense forest. That's fine if you don't remember these. But you need to understand the difference between total forest cover and total forest and tree cover. So we have seen the scenario of total forest cover, 1 square kilometer, 10% density of the canopy, and all those stuff. Fine. Now let's move on and let's see some more stuff. And I think after that we'll be done. We won't be discussing too much of the stuff. We keep it short only. Right now only it has increased to a certain extent. But all these, whatever we have discussed, I'm just discussing the most important portions. I'm skipping certain things which are not that important. So we'll keep on having these discussions. So as you can see, Prakash Javadekar, he has released this report. And again, what else is important in this? Which are the areas? We have seen the area or the state which has maximum forest cover, Madhya Pradesh, percentage as Mizoram. But what are the states which have shown increase in forest area? So Karnataka has shown the maximum increase, and then followed by Andhra Pradesh and Kerala. And there was a decrease which was seen in the northeastern states. It's obvious, man. Northeastern states obviously right now only has so much forest cover. So that is the basic thing. And area was largest forest cover, Madhya Pradesh followed by Arunachal Pradesh. We've already seen this. So let's keep until here only. Revise all these things, go through all these sessions. I'm just discussing the most important part. We have also discussed the PYQs and we'll discuss these PYQs of different topics also. So next SNT and others will follow. So keep on revising, be blessed, stay inside. God bless you all.